The evolution of your marketing will be the catalyst for the evolution of your business, and the evolution of your business will provide you with the freedom to focus on the evolution of your life. This is Evolved Marketing with Andrei and Brian. All right, welcome back to another episode of the Evolved Marketing Podcast. My name is Brian Brewer. I have my co-host here, Andrei Yermejev, and we're excited to have you on today. Today, we're going to shift gears a little bit. As you know, if you've listened to some of our previous podcast episodes, first of all, thank you very much. We do appreciate it. This is for you. But if you have been listening to us, if you've been following our story and this podcast, then you know that both Andrei and I have a background in the affiliate marketing space. While we've tried other things along the way, as most people do, failures, we have both seen our share of success in the affiliate marketing space and spent a majority of our time as successful digital marketers in the affiliate marketing space. But that is only the tip of the iceberg as far as possibilities when it comes to making money online and also selling information. Now, selling information is a really, really interesting concept that I think is a little foreign to a lot of people. And the thing is, it's an incredible opportunity because information can help you transform your life. If you're listening to this podcast, you probably understand how information can help you level up your life, evolve your business. But there is an opportunity to see that value and share it with the world in exchange for money. And so that opens the door to the possibility of creating other revenue streams inside of our business. And both Andrei and I are doing that. I've done this for a couple of years where I've sold information in the form of courses and coaching. And Andrei is now stepping out into that world as well. So I think that's what we're going to talk a little bit about today. Some of the similarities, some of the differences, and how you can maybe get into the business of selling information. Because what I've found is that most people, if you have experience in life and you lived life, so you do have experience, by the way, there is a business that is probably already inside of you. So what do you think, Andrei? Does that sound like a good topic for today?
That's like the best topic. I mean, I'm actually brand new into like creating my own affiliate course or my own coaching program. So I know you are more experienced with this. So I would love to hear what you can, any type of advice that you can give, especially when it comes when you're creating your own thing, right? I'm sure there's pros. I'm sure there's cons, right? I'm sure it's not always beautiful. There's gonna be struggles with that. But yeah, what is the framework that you came up with when you first thought about creating your own thing?
Yeah, absolutely. So over the years, I've been affiliate marketing, and most of my affiliate marketing products have been either software or digital education programs. And even when I was promoting software heavily, my promotional strategies revolved around education. So when I first started seeing a lot of success in affiliate marketing, it was promoting the Shopify e-commerce software. And the way I promoted that was I actually created a free course. So instead of creating a paid course and trying to sell it, I created a free course. I gave it away on social media and mostly YouTube. And of course, when people came into that free course, it was filled with relevant affiliate links, including Shopify. So that was really my first journey into education. I kind of started from the educational standpoint, even though I was an affiliate marketer. But as time goes on, if you're a successful affiliate marketer, creating content, building an audience, you realize that you have an audience of people who know you, like you, and trust you, but also want more from you. And what I mean by that is when people start to see you as an expert and a trusted expert and a knowledgeable expert, they understand that there is more value to be had outside of perhaps what has already been created inside a free course or a lead magnet or an ebook or even just the content on social media. So there is really a win-win situational opportunity there where people want to buy stuff from you, and this is an opportunity for you to sell things. So over the years, I've created a number of courses, mini courses, coaching programs, and some of them have been good. All of them have been my best at the time. Some of them have not been as great as far as clarity. And I think that's a big issue that people run into when they first create a course, right? But the bottom line is I've learned something from creating all of them. And I've kind of developed somewhat of a framework for actually creating courses because, I always say, if I were to create a course about affiliate marketing, which I have, oh, by the way, and if I were to put everything in that course that I've learned over the 10 years of affiliate marketing, it would be 900 hours long and it would be absolutely worthless to the people who purchased it because it would just be too overwhelming, too confusing. And I think that's what's important to avoid if you are going to create a course, is to treat it as just some sort of knowledge dump or brain dump, because that's not effective. That's not going to get people results. It has to be organized in a way that people can actually follow through and implement in some sort of logical order. So what I found that works best when it comes time to create a course, and I kind of stumbled on this back in 2018, and I was surprised at how well it worked, pleasantly surprised how well it worked, is to start by actually running a very short coaching program. So for example, let's say you have an audience. Let's say you have an idea for a course. Maybe it's your specialty. Maybe there's demand that's coming from your email list or audience. And you're like, okay, here's an opportunity to create a course, pump more value out into the world, and create another business or revenue stream. Well, the first thing I think you should do is then send the opportunity to your audience. Say something like, hey, I've decided to create a 3-week coaching program or a 6-week coaching program, and then sell it to your audience. Sell it so that people who actually go through this course have some sort of skin in the game. They're going to be invested and they're going to implement, because that's going to be the only real way that you're going to be able to get people results, is if they have skin in the game. Because if you give it away for free, 80% of the people aren't going to follow through. So go ahead and create this quote unquote group coaching program, where the way I do it is I run a 3-week group coaching program. I usually sell it for anywhere between $500 and $2,000. And I meet twice a week for 3 weeks. So 6 calls total. And I have a very specific journey that I want to take people on, or destination that I want to get them through or get them to. Then I run this.
You want to get them from,
I'm sorry?
You want to get them from point A to point B, correct?
Point A to point B. And that's it. A very specific point B, so that we know, okay, here is the outcome you can expect if you go through this coaching program. And that can be anything. It just depends on, what you're teaching. And then I run that coaching program, and it does 2 things for me. It actually does 3 things for me. The first thing it does is it helps me dial in my messaging. Because if I'm in a group coaching program where I bring people into a Zoom and I'm trying to teach a concept or a lesson or a strategy, and I get a bunch of blank faces, then I know my communication is not clear. I need to adjust the way that I am teaching this topic. So that's real-time feedback. The other thing that this is going to do is it's going to allow me to actually get results more quickly, because I'm working directly with people. So those results that I can get quickly then turn around and become my first testimonials. And the third thing it does, which is a little bit surprising, but is amazing, is it actually shows you the transformation that you're bringing. Now, for example, the first time I ran a group coaching program, I wasn't sure exactly what benefit I was bringing to people. I knew the point B that I wanted to get them to, but after coaching them through the 3 weeks, I realized my value, or the thing that I was really delivering, was clarity, right? More so than the tactics or the strategy, it was clarity of process. So with those 3 things now known, I could turn around, create the course, but also have the messaging already in place to further clarify for the audience what the point B really was and where the value was in the course. Then go take your notes, take your recordings, go out and actually recreate the course. And then you have what I've found to be a really excellent product. So that's my framework for creating courses.
Nice. Perfect. Now, as far as coaching, right? Because you first start with coaching, right? Like that's the first thing that you want to do. That way you get feedback for your knowledge, I guess, that way you present stuff. Now, when you're in charge of basically because you're in charge of giving somebody results, right? Do you ever like feel like you feel like you're not doing your best? For example, when I used to be coaching, I used to coach some people, right? And then they got results, but then the moment they didn't get the results that I want them for them to get, I was getting so discouraged, right? I felt like so much pressure about it. Is there a way that you work around that, or do you just have to push through the mentality?
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of that going on because obviously, if you're in a position where you're creating a coaching program or a course, you're probably pretty good at what you do. Maybe you're not the number one expert in the world, but you're probably pretty good. You're probably better than 99.9% of the people in this world. So there is a little bit of desire, at least from my standpoint, where if I'm going to coach people, I want them to be as good as me by the time I'm done coaching them. Now, obviously, that is completely unrealistic, but most kind, good-hearted people really want the best for their coaching students. So it can be a little bit frustrating when you can't get them as far as along as you want in 3 weeks or 6 weeks or however long your coaching program is, and there can be a little bit of frustration on their part as well, where they're like, "Man, I really came into this thinking I'd come out of it as an expert." So the first thing you have to really do is temper expectations, not only for your customer or your coaching student, but also temper expectations for yourself as well. Start to really identify the real wins that you get, that you give people. And there's a lot of value in that. And that's kind of what I was talking about when I say, after you go through this coaching program, you're going to start to understand the real value that you're bringing. So, for example, if I run a coaching program and I want people to be an expert affiliate marketer, that's probably unrealistic. But if I bring people through a coaching program and they get out of that 3 weeks thinking, "Oh my gosh, thank you, Brian, I understand what I need to do now." Think about how big of a win that really is. So you just really have to have, I think, realistic expectations. Yeah. And if your intent is to deliver the best, then everything should work out. And it's just a mental game from there.
Right. I mean, everything is a mental game, right? Especially, but then as soon as those students get those results, it feels amazing, right? Like you feel more motivated. You feel, because you always want to perfect something, right? So if somebody doesn't get results, then maybe you have to work on your content. Maybe you have to work on the modules that you have. But then when they start getting those results, do you necessarily move things around still, or do you just leave it how it is?
Yeah, and that's always the double-edged sword, if you will. When I first started creating courses, I had a tendency to really overcomplicate it. And maybe this was my inexperience, or maybe this was my lack of confidence. And once again, this is probably 4 years ago now. It was a situation where maybe in hindsight, looking back, I was lacking confidence in my ability to lead people. So I would overcompensate for it by delivering too much information and really trying to make me seem so smart, right? And really, that doesn't do anybody any good. It's not about seeming smart. It's about helping people understand and progress. So yeah, that was kind of my first couple of mistakes. So yeah, to answer your question, as I've created more trainings and more courses and more coaching opportunities and stuff, I've really started to refine the process of what people really need and really try to speak at a level that resonates with the audience. So that's kind of the process of really dialing it in so you can get results for people. And then, yeah, once people are getting results, it doesn't really matter what your opinion is as far as the course creator. You don't really want to tinker with it too much, unless something changes. For example, let's say you create a course and it talks about, a Facebook traffic generation strategy that is no longer relevant because you don't get organic reach on one part, but now you get organic reach on Reels. So you do have to modify it a little bit because the game changes so quickly and platforms change and algorithms change and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, really, at the end of the day, the only thing that matters is not how smart you look at how sexy you make the course, but does it get results or not?
Yeah. Yeah. Let's go back to the beginning. Like when you first started doing, like, for example, Shopify, did you see any other like Shopify courses out there, like people already doing Shopify, or were you just focused on like the new opportunity type of thing?
Yeah, I mean, I was definitely early
Right.
to the process, and I got a little bit lucky in the sense that I had met a couple of people, Alex Becker and I think his name is Devin Zander, who were big in the Shopify course selling space. So I kind of had the opportunity when I was still working in the restaurant industry to actually wait on them one day and kind of overhear them talking about the upcoming boom that was going to be in the e-commerce and dropshipping space. So I had a little bit of insight. So I was early, but yeah, I definitely noticed a lot of people who were out there selling courses, and that is really a good indicator of where there is opportunity. If other people, not just one, not just two, but if multiple folks are selling courses in the space, then there's probably a good opportunity in that space, right? Saturation is a myth. You don't want to buy real estate in the middle of the desert, right? You want to buy real estate in Manhattan, right, where all the action is. Maybe Texas, where all the action is, right? That's where you want to buy your real estate. So that's kind of the same mentality you should have when you want to create your course. So yeah, you definitely, if you see other courses in there in the space, that's a good sign. What I've found to work the best in order to differentiate yourself is what I've referred to as moving the free line. So, for example, if we go back to Shopify, the model really at the time was, this is 2016, so YouTube was the place where you went to search out your information, right? It wasn't delivered to you in short form content yet. So the model really is create micro trainings or content on YouTube and then refer people to either your course or your free course, in my case. So what I noticed is everybody was creating content on YouTube and trying to sell their course directly from YouTube. And obviously some people saw success, but what I did is by moving the free line, right, going one step further than everybody else, I got a lot of attention. I grew incredibly fast and I generated a ton of leads, which not only helped me earn affiliate commissions, but also helped me sell stuff on the back end. So that was really, really the key. So if you were in this space right now, which you are, and you wanted to create a course that taught Instagram or a specific platform or even affiliate marketing in general, I would first say, hey, is there other people teaching this? And the answer is yes. Okay, cool. How can I go one step further down the free line in order to differentiate myself? Because once you get people into your ecosystem and you start teaching them, some people are going to get results. Some people are going to really start to know you, like you, and trust you. And at that point, they'll pretty much buy anything from you. And that makes selling the course really, really easy.
Yeah, that's awesome how you were doing those long but short form content on YouTube first. That way and then you started promoting more strategic, like your course, right? So you do like small trainings, I guess, on YouTube, correct? And then from there you have like the good trainings in the course, right? So it's like a lead magnet, I guess you can say.
Yeah, 100%. And that's exactly what I did. So I would create a micro training. And if we're talking about this Shopify campaign or whatever, I might show you how to import your first product or how to connect your domain or how to, even think of a name for a store or how to run your first Facebook ad, right? And those would all be individual search-friendly videos. So people would come search this thing and be like, oh, cool, I needed to know that. Or, hey, that makes me more confident in the potential of this opportunity, right? And then when I would give them the free course, right, that obviously collected the leads, that obviously facilitated the conversion of the Shopify commissions and some other affiliate programs that I had in there. But the other thing that it did is it really helped my content blow up, because I was attracting with these shorter videos, these 2 to 5 minute trainings, and then give something of massive value. So people would like the videos, comment on the videos, watch more videos in the future. And it really created this ecosystem where it was kind of like a flywheel effect where I just grew really, really quickly. But the other side of that is on the back end, after I've already made the commissions and stuff, now I have this huge responsive list of people who know me, like me, and trust me. So I can promote other affiliate launches on the back end. I can promote My first course was obviously sold directly to my email list. And even though it was my first course ever, I think I did, $50,000 in the first month with it. So it's just, it's a good habit to get into to really over deliver. And it's funny, the more you give, the more people want to give you money. So don't worry about. I know this came up on a previous podcast episode with Jeff Bannock. Don't be afraid to over deliver. And if you're worried about giving away all your best secrets for free, then you probably don't know enough yet to create a course.
Yeah, there's more to learn, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So I want to shift a little bit and talk about your new endeavor here, because you've taken a familiar path. You've come onto the scene. You've been wildly successful with affiliate marketing, generating over 7 figures in sales. And now you see it as an opportunity to turn around and create something of your own. So what prompted that? Was it demand? Was it boredom? Was it an opportunity to give more? Was it an opportunity to make more money? What are you thinking here?
Right now, the answer that I have is I think it's a new opportunity, right? Especially because what I want to create it's not necessarily with the English speaking individuals, but more about like the Spanish community, like Hispanics, somebody that speaks Spanish. And then the reason that I say this is because, of course, I promote everything in English right now for legendary marketer, and whatever I do end up promoting. And I do get a lot of comments and messages if I do have something in Spanish, or if there's something out there in Spanish. And my answer has always been, I have no idea. Like I have never seen a course or like a community of digital marketers with just Spanish speaking people. So then that's when it clicked, right? It's like, okay, well, this might be like a great opportunity. It might be successful, it might not be successful, but I do think it's somewhere where I need to go.
Yeah, you started listening to the market, and you saw a demand, right. You saw a hole or a gap that needed to be filled. Now, are you thinking of doing a coaching program first, or you want to create a course, or a little bit of both, or is it undecided at this point?
I think it's gonna be a little bit of both for sure. I want to just focus on just being the main guy, basically, so like the main figure of the course. I do want to bring in other coaches as well, and I do want to it's going to be a course, but I do want it to have a community as well. So that's the main goal, to just build that community. And then inside that community, we're going to help and teach people in a group setting as well.
You're going to focus mostly on affiliate marketing?
Yeah, mostly affiliate marketing. And then from there, you could go to coaching, digital products, of course. But for example, I just went to Peru, right, with my family. And I was talking to my uncles, because I do have family over there. And they were like so completely lost. Like they had no idea what I did, right? Like they didn't know what it was. And it just got me thinking more about this opportunity, right? Like there's a lot of countries out there that they don't have no idea about this. And the only problem is that not every Spanish country speaks English as well, right? Like for example, I came from Peru, I came to the States when I was 14. They have English class in school, but it doesn't mean I learn how to speak English, right? It's like if you go to school here, you learn French and Spanish, like a class 1 hour a week or a day, right? It doesn't necessarily mean that you are going to speak Spanish and French, right? You're just probably going to go there.
Baño, that's what we know at the end of the first semester, right?
Right, like your mentality is to go there and pass the class, right? Like you're not there to learn a language, correct? So that's the same way how it works over there too. Like we went to English class to pass the class, not to learn English, right? That wasn't my focus at all. Right. So I just think it's gonna be a great opportunity. It might not, like I say, it might not be successful. It might be successful, but I think this is the way to go. This is where my next route is gonna go to.
That's really exciting. Now, obviously, that's the way to do it, right? If you notice a demand, you find a gap, you fill that gap. That's how you make the money. That's the same thing I did with Shopify. Is that I found a gap where there was a gap in the knowledge of people who heard about drop shipping, and the gap was between hearing about it and actually being able to set up a store. So that's where I created that opportunity. I've seen the same thing happen with people as affiliates. For ClickFunnels, especially a few years ago when people really started hearing about ClickFunnels, is there was a gap. people heard about ClickFunnels. They knew they needed a funnel for their business, but there wasn't a whole lot of training that showed people how to actually get started. So someone that I know in the space, Doug Mountain, he created a free course, and he actually gave it away and earned a ton of ClickFunnels commissions. I think he went from $0 to $100,000 in about 90 days. So anytime you see a gap like you identified, there's certainly an opportunity, and there's multiple ways to fill it. I'm curious, and I don't know if you have any sort of insight when you're listening to your audience, you're listening to people who are asking for Spanish speaking courses or trainings or coaching or opportunities. Do you have any idea the location of the people that are asking? Like, is it people who are currently living in Spanish speaking countries, or is it people who are living in the United States that have Spanish as their first language? Do you have any sort of idea about that?
Yeah, actually, a lot of them are people that are here already in the United States. So my demographics are mostly United States in my accounts, right? So whenever somebody does tell me, yeah, do you have anything in Spanish? It's probably somebody that just got to the United States and is looking for the opportunity. Mm-hmm. And that's what I see a lot, actually, because a lot of immigrants come here and they think it's going to be a good life. But in reality, you're going to work your ass off. You're going to be working morning to night, right, in order for you to make it. And that's going to be for like at least the first 5 years of your life here in the States, at least 5 years. And then from there, if you make the right choices, it might get better, it might get easier. But from what I've seen with especially the Spanish community, they just get stuck in that, I guess, middle class area, mm-hmm. where you just work, pay taxes, and then you wake up, you work, you pay taxes, and that rat race cycle, right?
Yeah, and I mean, having been in the restaurant industry, I'm familiar with it. I've seen it, mm-hmm. From the other side, obviously, with people who get into that cycle of, they work from 8 a.m. till 4 a.m. as a dishwasher at this restaurant, and then they go over to this restaurant and they bust tables from 5 until 11 o'clock at night, and they go home and they do it all over again, and they have Sundays off if they're lucky, and that's it.
Yeah, and then they're learning English while they're doing all of that as well. You get me? So the opportunity is there 100%. I just gotta do it, basically. That's why I was asking you these questions, because I'm just really interested, in getting your insights about this stuff,
Yeah, well, I think it's an amazing opportunity because, I've said this before, is, and I have to be completely honest, I only speak one language, and that happens to be the native language of the country that I live in. So I've never dealt with that, but it always amazes me how many responses I get from my email list, mostly of people who are in that same boat. They say, well, hey, what if English isn't my first language? What if I don't speak English very well? And they're looking to purchase guidance, but they have this big barrier. So to me, what I see is a huge community, or a huge population of people who are in the same boat. So if you can go through that as a non-English speaking immigrant, and then turn around and help guide other people through the process, there's money to be made beyond you, Andrei. And I think it's a really interesting concept, and like I keep saying, there's a gap. But yeah, I mean, that's what I would recommend is you put it out there, put it out there to your list. And what you're going to find is maybe a couple of things. Maybe you'll find that, there's interest, but no income. Mm-hmm. Or maybe you'll be pleasantly surprised with, which I think will be the case, where it's like, oh, wow, here's all this money that's essentially sitting on the sidelines.
Yeah. And especially, I don't know why, but I've been scrolling through my own TikTok, right? One of my accounts, right, that I run in English, correct? So another thing that I started seeing more and more and more is when I'm scrolling through TikTok now, I don't know how they figure it out that I speak Spanish or whatever, but I see a lot of content creators that are putting their text in Spanish and everything, right? So it's like, I haven't seen this before, you know, like recently it's been popping up more and more and more and more. And that just makes me think about like, okay, there are content creators out there, you know. Let's say I do want to have affiliates for my program. There is gonna be people able to do this too with just Spanish, and then they're gonna just put it out there, and then a lot of people who wherever they live, right? If they understand the Spanish, they're gonna read it, and then they can probably be interested in what you're trying to say.
100%. Well, go ahead.
So I think that's just another reason why I thought this will be possible, right? Because like I said before, I haven't seen this before.
And I think you need to look at patterns when you're looking for opportunities. I talk a lot about patterns. I love trying to identify patterns. I think Tony Robbins has said that, pattern identification is one of the number one skills you can teach your children. But one of the patterns that you see in digital marketing from some of the innovators, let's say, if we look at innovators on YouTube, the first person I think of is Mr. Beast, right? He's a YouTube god, but he's very strategic about what he does. He's not just up there throwing up content. He's very strategic about it. If we look at the digital marketing SEO space, I'm a big fan of Neil Patel. I've been following him for probably close to 8 or 9 years. And one pattern that they have that they share is, I think, the first thing they do is they start translating their content into Portuguese because there's a big opportunity in Brazil, I guess, being the number one opportunity. And then from there, I think the second place they translate all their content to is then in Spanish. So what you see here is they're getting massive reach just by repurposing their content into these other languages. So when you see that pattern of the biggest creators doing it, well, if you can be early to the game, even though, let's be honest, I mean, you're a pretty big name in the affiliate marketing education space, right? You certainly can't sneeze at anyone who's done 7 figures in affiliate sales. But let's be honest, like you and I we're pretty relatively small players when it comes down to it, right? So if you can be kind of the first to the space that fills this gap in a really an untapped demographic or language or opportunity, I mean, who knows, where this could take you. This might be the end of our podcast when you find it's just not worth it to speak English anymore. It's not financially viable for you anymore.
No, that's not gonna happen, Brian. Come on.
I'll have to learn Spanish.
Yeah, you have to learn. My wife has to learn Spanish too. So it's like, okay, perfect opportunity for everybody, right? No, but it's funny how you say that of course me and you have done very well in this space. But then remember when we were Funnel Hacking Live, and the first night we were talking about a few people, and they had no idea what affiliate marketing was, right? And to me, being one of my first big events that I attended, to me, it just blew my mind. Like, because I turned around and I told you, damn, Brian, affiliate marketing is so small. Like it just feels like we're so early, like thinking 5 years from now where we're gonna be, right? You're saying we're gonna be the next Dean, the next, whatever the next Russell Brunson, because we are so early on in that space. Because it just blew my mind how many people did not know about it, especially at a big convention.
Yeah, a big convention that has an amazing affiliate program. I mean, that's the other thing. This ClickFunnels has one of the biggest affiliate programs for any software company that I know of. And here they are putting on this convention where, I mean, 20% of people even know what affiliate marketing is, maybe. I mean, it's crazy. We're so early. And, I've said this before. I think we are early, not only because nobody knows about it, because affiliate marketing is going to be such a viable option for businesses going forward. The cost of ads are just going to go up. Like you think about running a Facebook ad or a TikTok ad right now, and you're like, well, it's not as cheap as it used to be, but it's still pretty inexpensive. But would you ever consider buying a Super Bowl ad? Of course you wouldn't, right? Like that's millions of dollars for a 30-second spot. Well, eventually digital marketing, I'm not saying it's ever going to be $1 million to run Facebook ads, but or to get started with Facebook ads. But the fact is it's going to trend there. Ads are going to get more expensive. So how are these smaller companies going to get customers? Right. Well, the way they're going to get customers, I think one way they're going to get customers, I think, is to leverage affiliates. So I think we're incredibly early to the game.
Especially influencers. I think I heard an interview with Gary Vee, or I think it was like a podcast he was on, and he was saying that things are gonna move forward, and the direction that things are going is e-commerce and influencers. So now they're trying to combine those two, right? And he thinks it's gonna be like the biggest thing that is gonna be the best new thing out there right now, especially with Amazon. Like Amazon has like a really good influencer program now. I just learned about it and I actually just got approved to be one of them. So now I'm just testing it out, right? And I'm just, doing product reviews and seeing where this can take, right? But then eventually I think this could be something huge. And then it's like you do a review for a product and then you put it on Amazon and then it basically just stays there, right? So it's like it's gonna be some sort of passive income and then another income stream as well. Because if you look around your house, there's products everywhere and everything you can buy on Amazon too.
Yeah.
So when you combine e-commerce with influencers, right, creating content creators, it's just gonna skyrocket people's life. People's lives are gonna change because of this.
And it just shows you another pattern, right? And just to be clear, for anyone who doesn't know, I actually just signed up for the influencer program as well, just to kind of check it out and see what it's all about. And what Amazon is doing is they are essentially populating micro influencers, their actual product reviews on Amazon. And what happens is if someone comes to Amazon and they watch your video, as an influencer, the video you posted, and they go buy the thing, you're actually earning a commission. So it's traffic that's already inside the platform. But the pattern here is Amazon understands how powerful influencer videos are. So they're actually being proactive and actually getting them populated on the site. So it's incredible. Product reviews, I think maybe don't have the power that they used to, because it's all what the influencers think and the product descriptions, and people want to actually see how this thing works and the pros and cons of it before they actually make the purchase. And if a behemoth like Amazon is being proactive and actually populating their website with influencer reviews, which is crazy when you think about it, then what's going to happen? It's going to explode. It's going to be all about influencers and what they say. And how do influencers make money? Well, one way they make money is through affiliate links, getting commissions. Right. So it's just a really exciting time, and I get excited when I talk about it.
Yeah, and then they're just trying to be ahead of the game, right? Because they see the opportunity of like TikTok creator. I guess you can say it started with Vine, right? Started with Vine, and then TikTok created this thing, and then Instagram created this thing, then YouTube created this thing, then Facebook added his thing, right? And then LinkedIn added his thing, right? So it's just that pattern that you're talking about. It just makes sense for e-commerce, like Walmart, Target, to start bringing in influencers into their platform, right? Because I don't think people like reading reviews anymore. People want to visualize it. People want to see it now.
Right.
And that's where everything is changing because of that.
Yeah, there's 10,000 reviews and they all pretty much say the same thing. And what you do is you look through the one negative review and say, oh, do I trust that or not? Right. It's just not a good processing. Well, I don't look at reviews really much anymore. And I think, Amazon does a good job of showing you the best products based on feedback, because the last thing they want is returns, right? They don't want people returning products to Amazon because, that costs them money, and then they have issues with getting rid of products. So they basically are trying to do everything they possibly can to help the buyer make a good, informed decision, to kind of eliminate the back and forth. And, that's really another pattern when we talk about evolving your marketing, right? You just want the buyer to be satisfied, right? And the more you can do to, people want to spend money. People go to Amazon to spend money, and Amazon doesn't really care where you spend the money. They just want you to spend the money and not ask for it back. And it's just, if you could do that in your marketing, just get people to want to spend money with you and not give it back. I mean, you do that by helping them make an informed decision, and that's the power of influence and the power of demonstrating the value of a product, I guess.
Yeah. You mentioned earlier on about saturation. When it comes to digital marketing and online stuff, there's no way it's saturated, right? Like there's just so many people out there that don't know about this yet, that there's no way somebody can say that our business model is saturated. Maybe if you want to create your own product, your own physical product, maybe you can be the next laptop, right? The next Mac, the next energy drink, right? Maybe that's a little saturated because it makes sense, right? Like people just want to go to where what they're used to, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then when it comes to like digital marketing and online courses, coaching, masterminds, there's no way this is ever going to be saturated because information is out there and people want information.
Yeah, and they want it from people they like in a way they like to have it delivered to them. That's why when I create a course and I'm trying to sell it by creating micro trainings, I try to keep everything congruent, because I know if you like my content, you're going to like my course. Right. And I don't want to create content that's not congruent with my actual style, because that's going to create a disconnect and it's not going to create happy customers. So the point I'm getting at is, if you're out there listening and you're thinking about getting into this affiliate marketing game and promoting some of the same products that Andrei and I promote, where we're promoting digital products and stuff along those lines, education products, people just want to hear, they want to see it from you, because they're looking for someone that they can relate to. And oftentimes they're looking for someone that they can relate to by seeing themselves in that creator, right? So yeah, to say it's saturated is crazy, because there's all kinds of unique personalities out there, and that's your secret weapon in this space. I laugh. I saw a post the other day. Both you and I promote Legendary Marketer, have done really well, and I don't know how much in sales they do a year. I don't know if they do $10 million in sales, and they're one of the leading affiliate marketing or digital marketing education programs. And they've had 100,000 people buy into their $7 business builder challenge. And 100,000 people sounds like a lot, but I think Dave Sharp, who's, if you don't know him, he's always colorful with his words. He says, yeah, 100,000 people is like a pimple on a gnat's ass, right? That's nothing. And exactly. And they're one of the biggest companies in the space, and that 100,000 people is nothing.
Exactly. And it comes down with new opportunity, right? Like, how many people turn 18 a day, right? How many people lose their job a day? How many people, XXXX, right? Example, right? Like, there's just, everybody something's gonna change in their life. They're gonna look for new opportunity, look for new jobs, look for the next big thing. Crypto was big when it first started, right? Some people didn't think it was big. Some people didn't do nothing about it, but then it became huge. And right now, of course, it's gone down, but the opportunity was there. A lot of people got rich out of that, right? So that's the thing that, I think the more you think about something, or the more you just think about, like, for example, if you want to do something, right, just do it, because the more you think, the opportunity is going to be flying away, basically. So you have to act. You have to take action.
And there's other sides of it too. Like, I think people are just so scared to lose a couple bucks or fail that they end up doing nothing, because maybe you see an opportunity, right? Let's say you see this opportunity and you're like, wow, this seems really good. So you really have two choices: either act on it or not. And most people, they say, I got to think about it. Well, what they do is they spend the next 6 months, because as we know, life gets in the way and we get distracted. They spend the next 6 months thinking about it. Well, what if that wasn't a good opportunity? You see what I'm saying? Let's say you see this opportunity, it really attracts your attention, If you sit on it for 6 months and then 6 months later decide to act on it, and then you find out 6 months later after that it wasn't a good opportunity, now you just wasted a year. Whereas on the alternate side, let's say you see an opportunity and you think it looks good, just act on it right away. And then maybe 3 months from now, you realize, well, this was not the opportunity that I thought it was. My example from my history is selling on Amazon. I saw this and I was like, wow, this looks like a pretty good opportunity. And then you get into it and you actually do it. And then you realize, holy smokes, there's a lot of, there's a lot of big sharks out there who are crushing you or whatever. But the bottom line is even if it's not the right opportunity, if you act on it right away, at least you figure out it's not going to work faster and you can move on to something else, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, the more you dwell about something, I mean, what's going to happen, right? Nothing's going to happen. You're just going to be messing up your brain, basically, right? Because you're not really acting on it. How are you going to know if it works if you're just in your head, right?
I was thinking that Dr. Seuss book. It's called "Oh, the Places You'll Go." Have you ever read that to your kids or anything? Or
no, I know about it, but I haven't read it.
So, "Oh, the Places You'll Go." It's a book about setting out on a journey and facing obstacles and sometimes you're riding high and sometimes you're down in the dumps, and that's just the way it goes. But at one point in that book, they talk about the most useless place, right? Not the scariest place, not the most challenging, the most useless place. And he says, when he writes this book, he calls it the waiting place. Waiting is the most useless place. Nothing happens when you just sit there and wait.
Yeah, like there's nothing getting done. It's just wasted time, right? Is that what you're trying to say?
100%. Just get on with it. And guess what? Sometimes things are going to work out and it's going to be really good. And guess what? Other times it's not going to work out and it's going to seem pretty bad. But that's just the law of nature. And what you got to do is if you go out there and do something and it leads you to a place that's really, really bad, well, at least you can only up from there, right? Now hey, that didn't work or that wasn't the right way to go. It's like if you're walking through a maze and you just stood there, would you ever find your way out of the maze? No, you would just stand there. You'd be in the maze for the rest of your life. What's the risk? Well, if you choose a direction, let's say you're in a maze and you can either go right or left. Well, let's say you choose right. What's the worst thing that can happen? It can lead to a dead end. Okay, then you just retrace your steps and you go the other way. And eventually, if you do that enough times, you'll find your way out of that maze. That's life. That's business. Just make a decision, choose a direction and go. Worst case scenario, it doesn't work out. Now you know which way not to go. But it's the waiting place where nothing gets done. It's the most useless place.
And even if something doesn't work out, right, you still are going to take something from it. It's going to make you a better person. It's going to make you more wiser. You are probably not going to make the same mistake ever again. You're going to be more careful. You're going to think about things more differently, right? And then that's just going to make you mature in a way. Your brain is going to start working in a different way because it's not like you wasted that opportunity. You took that opportunity. And unfortunately, it didn't work out, right? But you have trained yourself to say yes and to take action. And that's the biggest thing that anybody can do, especially when you're a beginner, right? When I first started into the online world, I did start drop shipping first. But I took that opportunity and I started learning it, right? Or by myself. And then it did not work out, right? I failed completely. Everything was a mess. But then 3 months after that, I saw a different opportunity. And that was affiliate marketing. And I had a different framework in my head as in, okay, I'm not sure if it's going to work out, but I'm going to try to do it, right? And then thankfully it worked out. But then I had a different framework in my head already. So that's what I'm trying to say, like you will get something good out of something if you succeed and if you fail.
Right. And, it's kind of like looking at luck. What is luck? Well, that's kind of like when preparation meets opportunity. So if you just sit here and wait for opportunity, and I know I'm harping on waiting, but it's just crazy. Like if you sit here and just wait for an opportunity, you're not going to be prepared when opportunity comes. You know, you prepared yourself. You took some blows, right? You took your, you know, your bad beats, you know, and that made you stronger. So now all of a sudden, once this affiliate marketing opportunity presents itself to you, Andrei, now you look like an overnight success. It's like, oh my God, he just came out here and just did it. And look where he is now. But it's not about that. It's about taking those licks. It's about taking that beating. It's about getting stronger. It's about reframing your beliefs about certain things, right? So one thing, for example, like you went through drop shipping and it was a mess, but you probably, when you got through it, you probably realized, wow, this was harder than I thought it was going to be when I first got started. Is that fair?
Yeah, 100%.
So now you go into affiliate marketing knowing it's going to be hard. And guess what? When you go in there with that mentality, it's like, you do different things. You attack things differently. You don't get frustrated by problems. And even if you did get frustrated by problems, you go out there and you just battle through them or figure it out or Google it till you find the answer, right?
Exactly. Yeah, and especially it won't get easier. You get me? Yeah, like every business model will have its hard parts, right? I could not figure out the drop shipping, but then it helped me fix my mentality for the next big thing. And then when I was doing the next big thing, I was frustrated still, right? Like I was still struggling, but I had a different mindset. I was like, okay, I gotta make this work. And an example I can give you is making my funnel to work, right? I was spending hours. I think I spent like 5 hours straight just trying to set it up and fixing it, and it was not working. After those 5 hours, it was not working. I just shut down my computer and I just was like, I'm done with this. The next day, I went at it again. You know, I don't think it was working still, but then the next day I went at it again, and then I finally worked, and I felt so proud of myself. Like I felt because I didn't give up, right? Which before I'd probably be like, okay, yeah, I'm done with this. Like, there's no way I can handle this. But now I was able to actually make it work, and I just felt proud of myself. I felt happy. You know, it was like, okay, this is happening. You know, like this is it's working. Now I just gotta focus on other things. This is done. Move to the next thing, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right. The worst thing that can happen is it doesn't work, right? But at least you know, okay, that didn't work. Now I got to figure out what works.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then like I say, I will Google it. You know, right? Just Google. I didn't even talk to nobody. I was just Googling everything, just on my computer, just ripping my hairs out, right? Type of thing. But it worked at the end, right? And now that when I do this, it's just so simple now, right? Like I was like, why was I frustrated before, right? But it was just because I didn't know what I was doing.
And that's the beauty of what we do with affiliate marketing, promoting educational products is when you go through these educational products, you learn all the struggles firsthand, right? Like, okay, I went through this and I learned this thing, and here's the points that I struggle. I struggle at point B, I struggle at point, T, and struggle at point X, right? Like those are my three biggest struggles on the journey to launching this affiliate marketing business. Now, when you're going to go and you're going to build an audience and you're going to either promote the same course or you're going to start a coaching program, now you know exactly where the hard parts are. So you can kind of, help people breeze through those major challenges. And then you look like a genius. You look like a damn hero at that point. And
exactly. It's funny that you say that because you guys know my wife just quit her job, and so she's gonna start doing affiliate marketing, right? So yesterday was her first big day, right? Monday, fresh weekly, we were gonna start. So she started, right? And we sat down here in my office. She was next to me, right? And then we went from everything. And so we created the funnel. We created our domain name for her, right? We linked it up with a professional email with the whole DNS settings. And then my wife, her face was like, whoa, like how do you know how to do all of this, right? Like this doesn't make any sense right now, but it's just like I took her step by step, the whole framework of how to do everything. And we went through like autoresponders, funnels, like I said, everything, right? Everything's linked up. So we did everything in like 2 hours. So her business is literally set up. We did it in like I think it was less than 2 hours, to be honest. But in her mind, it was just like, wow, like you know a lot. But in reality, I just know how to make it work. Like I just learned from struggling, because all those times that she saw me in our kitchen table, right? On our dining room table, just sitting on my laptop, just struggling. It just made me this type of person now, where it's just like I can just do it now. And then she realized that, and I was like, yep. You remember those nights, right? Where I was in my computer, you know? And then she's like, yep. I was like, those nights I was learning how to do all of this by myself.
And once you learn it, it's so easy. And I think that's why it's frustrating, especially in this affiliate marketing space, which is a very good entry level business for first time entrepreneurs and first time digital marketers is, you and I can sit here and say, yeah, it's easy. Right. And that's really frustrating to someone who's never done this before. And I think what I try to do is I say, well, it's simple. Nothing's easy when you've never done it. I think back to my restaurant career. And I spent a lot of my years managing restaurants, which I really enjoyed. But I also spent some years waiting tables. And really, waiting tables, there's nothing to it. There's finer points if you work in nicer restaurants that are different from your local Chili's or what have you that take time to learn. But for the most part, waiting tables is nothing. There's nothing to it. But what happens when you go into a new restaurant? Right? When you get a new job waiting tables or a new serving position, you go into this restaurant and it's like, you don't know where the ketchup is. You don't know where the napkins are. You don't know how to, where the ice is. And how many tables can you take at that point, man? I mean, you're lucky to take two, because every time you go to get something, you don't know where it is. You don't know how to make the coffee. You don't know how to ring in the espressos or whatever. And it's just miserable. And you feel like you're in the weeds. For those of you who are in the restaurant business, you feel like you're in the weeds all night long and your tips suffer because of that. But then a few weeks go by and now you're taking 5, 6, 7 tables or whatever. And it's pretty much easy. And you're shooting the shit, watching the game with people while you're waiting on these tables and you're getting good tips. It's just, you just got to go through the process of learning the steps. And then it's easy. I mean, really, affiliate marketing is a whole lot easier than waiting tables, right? Because nothing really changes.
Yeah, especially, I mean, like the work on your body, man. I mean, I was just so tired of just working at the restaurant. Like my wrist will hurt, just holding something will hurt. My back was hurting, and I had to drive for like 40 minutes to get to the restaurant. You get me? So that was my day. I had like 11-hour days, just to get home, basically. And then by the time I go home, I don't want to do anything. I don't want to go anywhere. Like I barely want to just watch TV, right? Like I don't want to do anything. So
I want to drink 4 beers, watch some TV, and go to bed, right?
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. I'll come home with my 6-pack, right, and just drink a beer and then just drink and hate my life, I guess. As you can say, and then be like, I gotta do this again tomorrow, right? Like that type of mentality, right? Like. But I mean, it's just a process, man. You just gotta live it, I guess. I mean, if you're there, right? I mean, what else can you do? But then, thankfully, new opportunities will always open up.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like you always say yes to the opportunity, because guess what? You're gonna go figure something else out eventually if you say yes, and then you're gonna figure out affiliate marketing and. That you're going to get pretty good at that. And then you're going to have opportunity to say yes to other things. Maybe you start a coaching program, or maybe you start a podcast, and who knows where that leads. I tell you, I've been amazed after, since starting this podcast. Like there's something about a podcast. People will just say yes to you. Like the people that, we are getting to commit to this podcast is incredible. People I would never have access to otherwise. And so yeah, I'm really, really, really excited to see where this thing goes.
Yeah, and especially because I mean, you guys don't know, but we just got invited to be on another podcast, right? So it's like the opportunity is there. Like just us talking, having a conversation, and talking to our guests is opening up so many other doors, and there's gonna be way more doors that are gonna open up. So it's just like, what if we never started this, right? Like it's just like, we need to get out of here, and then we need to just start doing, and that's exactly what we did.
But it's like training yourself. Like, we go back to when we first started this or came up with this idea. You came up with this idea and you started selling me on it at Funnel Hacking Live in Orlando. I mean, it took me 17 hours to say yes, right? I didn't sit here and think about it. I could have thought about it for the next, I could have said, well, maybe we'll look at it next year, right? Or 6 months from now. And 6 months from now, we'll have 25 episodes published, and we'll have probably at least 30 recorded, and we'll have met so many new people, and we'll, who knows, what will happen.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, we were a Funnel Hacking Live till Sunday. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, we talked about it. And then I told you, all right, I'll text you tomorrow. We're going to start tomorrow, right? And then what did we do? We started tomorrow. Like, we started brainstorming, and we just did it, right? Because if we would have said, okay, well, let's wait a week, right? Or something like that, it would have never happened.
Yeah.
Never.
Right. Yeah. Just train yourself to say yes. So here we are, creating this podcast. If you're listening to this episode, thank you. We certainly do appreciate it, and that's part of the reason we're here as well. So, just wanted to take time to, and tune into the next episode and go watch some of our past episodes. Right, we've got a lot of great guests that have come on. A couple of ladies who have done amazing things in the affiliate marketing space. A gentleman who's done some great things in the affiliate marketing space. By the way, did you see that Josh just released his a free course?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, he had been reaching out to me because that's kind of the model that I've been using, and I got an email from him. It was either yesterday or 2 days ago where he just released a free course. So he's kind of
amazing,
going out, moving the free line, and expanding his. I don't know what his main goal is. I don't know if he wants to sell coaching or if he just wants to expand his brand or just promote more affiliate products. But yeah, he's going out there and doing it now as well. So that's exciting.
We'll for sure have him on once again so he can talk about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, Andrei, it was great talking to you today. As always, any last minute words for the audience before we sign off here today?
No, just thank you so much for listening. Thank you for being loyal. I guess if you have started from the beginning, from episode number 1, and just how the name of the podcast is Evolve Marketing Podcast. Me and myself and Brian are going through our own evolution while we're doing this, and hopefully you guys are also gonna go through not the same evolution, but your own evolution. And that's exactly why we started this, so you guys can think a little bit more, listen to stories, and try to make the best out of your own evolution, as you can say.
Absolutely.
Thank you guys for listening.
Thank you very much. We'll see you all in the next episode.